The first mistake I made was making an equilateral triangle, I think, with the information we were giving. So that kind of skewed my picturing the problem, I suppose. So I started with b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine of b. And then I plugged in the numbers and I got 36 equals 16 plus 81 minus 72 cosine of b. So B equals 32.1 degrees, which I think we all agreed on. So I'll put that up here, 32.1 degrees. And then where I went wrong is I used the law of sines improperly. Then I used the law of sines for angle C. So the sine of 32.1 degrees over 6 equals the sine of angle C over 9. So I got the sine of C is equal to 9 times the sine of 32.1 degrees over 6. And of course, when I put that in my calculator with the inverse sign, I get that C is approximately 52.1 degrees, and I trusted that. So I put 52.1 degrees here. And then the angles of a triangle have to add up to 180. So, excuse me. So then when I figured that out, I got A was 95.8 degrees. And then quickly, Riley figured out that A cannot be the largest angle because 9 is the biggest side. So then I had to go back and look at my work again. Okay, so the work I did here was not wrong, where I got 52.1 degrees for my inverse sine. But remember, inverse sine is from 0 to pi. So here's this. And I got the angle 52.1 degrees. And then, of course, it mirrors an angle over here where the inverse sine is going to be the same because the sine here is positive and the sine here is positive for the y values. So I should have figured out the larger angle here because I should have seen that C was the bigger angle, but I didn't. So then if I do 180 minus 52.1, then I should have actually gotten that C was approximately 127.9 degrees. So I should have had the bigger angle here instead of the smaller angle. So I'm going to go back over to my triangle over here with the 127.9 degrees. I'm going to cross this out, and it should have been 127.9 degrees here. Cross this out, 127.9 plus 32.1 minus, oh, so that makes this angle, 20 degrees. And so that makes a little bit more sense because the smallest side is 4. The smallest angle is 20. The largest side is 9. The largest angle should be 127.9 degrees. So yeah, I should have recognized that. But because of my drawing, I didn't. So let me do this over again, and maybe then we can see what it maybe should have looked like. Here's a better view of the triangle. So using the law of cosines with B, obviously still 32.1 degrees. But let's do the law of cosines with C. Like I told you, we can just use the law of cosines twice instead of trying to do the law of sines. And I think that's where it gets screwed up. If you're using the law of cosines with C, you're going to have cosine C over here. And remember, C squared here. And then the rest of the letters A squared plus B squared minus 2AB. Okay, C squared is, let's see, 81 equals A squared is 16. B squared is 36 minus 2 times A is 4 times B is 6 cosine of C. Just to skip all that math, it is 29 over 48 negative equals cosine of C. So when I put that in my calculator and I do inverse cosine of negative 29 divided by 48, I get 127 point, what is that? 0.2, I guess? 0.2 degrees. So that's C. And then you can just add those up to find A. So I have 127.2 plus 32.1 minus 180, and I get 20.7 degrees. So I have some rounding error there, but that's okay. As long as you show your work and everything, I'll know that that's rounding error. So In conclusion, if you have side, side, side on a triangle, use the law of cosines twice. Don't try to do the law of cosines and then the law of sines and make mistakes like me. Also, make your triangle drawing a little bit more proportional than I did. So you can see if you do use the law of sines that C is not closer to 57 degrees. It's closer to 127.2 degrees. Thanks for watching.